We've all heard everyone say that Sean Payton got the future Drew Brees in Bo Nix, but did he also get the future Marquez Coulston? We'll break all that down in this video and so much more. If you're new to this channel, my name is Ben. I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan. Let's dive in. So in a draft with Rome Odunze, Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr., it's easy to be like, oh, we missed out on all of the top receiver talents. And even our first receiver at number 16, being Troy Franklin, it's easy to think, oh, they're not going to be as good as those top wideouts. But where a receiver is drafted does not have any bearing on their success in the league. You can look at how high we picked Jerry Jeudy and how drastically he underperformed. And then you look at, like, obviously one of the most famous wide receivers in Broncos history being Rod Smith, an undrafted guy, Adam Thielen, an undrafted guy. You had Marquez Coulston drafted by Sean Payton in the 7th round. We're going to look at his pro comp sitting on the Broncos today. But then you got Stephon Diggs, was a 5th round draft pick and ended up being the best receiver in that draft class. You have Antonio Brown picked in the 6th round, and at his prime was probably the most unstoppable receiver in the league. And so let's take a look at who I think might be the future Marquez Coulston and break it down in several different ways. So here he is. We've heard him talked about a little bit on this channel. He was our last pick of this year's draft, 7th round pick that a lot of people thought he might go undrafted at that point. And when they read the name Devaughn Vele out of Utah, people were a little bit surprised. But then I heard an interview with his coach on the DNVR podcast, and his coach said he reminds him a lot of Tim Patrick and that his best game coming out of high school wasn't football. Just like Tim Patrick, it was basketball. And so what was really interesting, Cameron Parker on Twitter had this amazing comparison of Marquez Coulston, who went to Hofstra, which I think is very close to where the Saints play. And so Sean Payton had a really good look at him and scooped him up. And most people were saying Marquez Coulston was going to go undrafted. And who is this guy? He's almost 6'5", and he's huge. And if you take a look at the RAS score, so this is the relative athletic score, and so they score you out of every single player they've ever had at that position based on a number of measurables, and then they give you a score out of 10. Obviously, the closer you are to 10 means like the more athletic of a freak you are. And so anything over 7 means like you are in the top 70th percentile of every receiver who's ever been drafted. And so to have someone at 8.47 who is almost going undrafted is crazy, crazy, crazy. And just looking at how closely he maps to Marquez Coulston and how closely their games map to what Sean Payton wants to drop this year for Bo Nix, it has me like crazy, crazy hyped. So you have Marquez Coulston was a half-inch taller than him, but he was slower than him by, a considerable amount there in a 4.5 40 and a 4.4 40. And, we're, looking here that Devaughn Vele is much quicker in the first 10 and the first 20, which is a really good sign because, that lets you get off the line faster. Obviously, Marquez Coulston was a little bit stronger in that he put up the 235 pounds 16 times, where Devaughn Vele put it up only 11 times. So will he have a harder time getting off of corners? But my guess is at that size and weight advantage, he will have no problem doing that. And so it's very coincidental that both of these guys who look almost identical when you're looking at their splits there and their size and the fact that they came out of colleges that weren't like premier talented colleges is awesome. So let's take a look at kind of how Sean Payton used Marquez Coulston in his offense and then look at some of the highlights from last year. So you see, obviously, jump ball receiver inside the hashes on this play. You see here the fake on the inside of the hashes going against Tillman, like one of the best at his position there back in the Legion of Boom there. I guess that's not what they called themselves. They bared down. But those tiptoe catches remind you a little there of Demaryius Thomas. Here it is right on the hashes, which, I consider that like a middle of the field throw right there. And now here, looking at him work in the middle like a tight end. And we know that has been the portion of this offense that has drastically been lacking, that Russell Wilson was one of the lowest throwers to the middle of the field of any quarterback in the NFL last year. And we know that's a huge part of what Sean Payton wants to do, and we see it right there. That's not even showing what he's doing with his tight ends, with whether he had Jimmy Graham or Jeremy Shockey or whoever he had. And so Now take a look at some of these exact plays back to back. So we just saw Marquez Coulston tearing it up. Now let's watch Devaughn Vele when he was at Utah, and just you will be the similarities in the types of routes they run and their size is just uncanny. And so here he is right here working the middle. Boom, middle of the field. Great catch. I mean, we've seen some great plays already at rookie camp where he's scooping things off the turf, that he's a very sure-handed receiver. Again here. And Utah had really struck. So that was a play where he started in the middle of the field and had an outbreaking route there. So he has an ability to get himself open in the zone right here, middle. I guess that's an outside throw as well, but he went up and did like a little cut left. But I think the similarities there between what Devaughn Vele could be and what Marquez Coulston was for the Saints offense is just uncanny, and I cannot wait to see it. So eager to think, do you think that Devaughn Vele actually is going to make a meaningful difference this year for the Denver Broncos? Our receiver room is all of a sudden getting really packed, right? That we know we need to get Marvin Mims the ball a lot more, which is the reason we probably moved on from Jerry Jeudy. So we got a Pro Bowl receiver in Marvin Mims. Obviously, we have Courtland Sutton, who I think will be coming back. It's going to be interesting to see if he comes to those mini camps this week. We went out and got Troy Franklin, who I'm really high on. We got Tim Patrick coming back from an injury. Great leader off the field and on the field. And now we have Virgil Green coming back, who was an amazing kick returner. We're going to talk a little bit about that in my video tomorrow. And then obviously Devaughn Vele in there, and you throw in are we going to have a healthy year from Greg Dulcich? And all of a sudden, the weakness of this team last year was our offense, and it just never felt like we were scoring more than 17, 18, 19 points. And I think we are taking the top off this year. We have a deep receiving core again. It wasn't that long ago that the Denver Broncos had the highest paid receiving core in the entire NFL, and you just felt like, man, all of our receivers are good, and I'm starting to feel that way again, that we go 5 deep, which is a really, really good thing and a really great thing for Bo Nix to walk into his first year. Even someone asked Sean Payton, hey, is Troy Franklin, does he already have so much chemistry with Bo Nix? And Sean Payton said, yeah, he has a lot of chemistry with him, but what you really should be talking about is look how much chemistry Devaughn Vele already has for him. And so for Bo Nix to be a rookie cutting his teeth in this NFL, and all of a sudden you got a 6'4" guy with just a massive catch radius. Like, imagine with the arms that length. When you take a look, he's got 33-inch arms, which just means like, hey, 33 inches this way, 33 inches this way, up, down. Like, that's just insane that his arm span is bigger than Marquez Coulston's, and I think that is a great, great safety blanket for Bo Nix and this new offense to have. Other big news of the day is the rookie showcase is on. And so we got to see actual uniforms, not in hype videos by the Denver Broncos, but like actually in the wild. And I know there was mixed reception to these uniforms on Twitter, but man, they look incredible in real life. So what we have is we got a video here, Audric Estime, we got Bo Nix at the end of this, and then we got Troy Franklin. They're wearing all orange socks. I love that stripe has gone off the pants. I love the numbering on our new jerseys. It just looks dirty. I mean, there's Audric. He is a house, man. Like, imagine that guy coming through the A-gap, and you're just like a little linebacker about to get blown up. But I love those solid orange socks there. And now we got Troy Franklin back here. He's probably trying to subscribe to this YouTube channel now on his phone, which is, yeah, he just has to hit like and subscribe. Pretty easy. Y'all can do it, right? And then here we go. We got a picture of Bo Nix there rocking it. Love this look. Just love the weird Nike stripe off of our old pants had those weird stripes, and that is gone. So very, very exciting. Last thing I want to talk about is the big question that we have in offense. I feel like we've improved everywhere. We have a quarterback who can run his system. We have a healthy receiving core with no divas on it now. I didn't even mention Josh, the guy we got from the Lions, Reynolds, right? Amazing that we traded Jerry Jeudy for a no drama guy who is very similar at the position, right? So our receiving room is stacked. We have Javonte coming back off of a catastrophic knee injury. That's 2 years in the rearview mirror. He's going to be better. Greg Dulcich is going to be healthy. We have one of the best guards in the league in Meinerz. We have tackles at both ends who have been studs. And our Pro Football Focus said we had one of the best offensive lines, top 10 offensive line in the league. And now we have a quarterback who can run the system. So the big question is, are we going to be able to see Alex Forsyth step into that Lloyd Cushenberry role and be successful? My premise all along, and I've said it multiple times here, is that Cushenberry's first couple years in the league and first couple years with the Broncos were a massive disappointment. And it wasn't until you put studs on either side of him with Powers and Meinerz that he actually lived up to his potential. And so I think a center, their success is deeply dependent on who's at the left and right of them. And so that makes me feel like that Forsyth can step in, and he isn't going to be a clown. He's going to be another SEAL Team 6 guy, just like we have rocking right here. And I think his chemistry that he already has playing with Bo Nix at the University of Oregon is going to be a very, very great thing for this Broncos team. So curious to hear what all y'all think. Is Vele the future? Marquez Coulston, is our offensive line going to be a problem? Broncos country, giddy up. I'm playing through this hand injury.